Hi guys, it's John from TheDiceStormers here, coming at you with something a little bit different this week. I know that we've been normally doing 3-hour-long role-playing games, but I thought this time we'd try something a little different. Cue explosion! So what are quick tips, I hear you ask? Quick tips for us are going to be not so much what you find on YouTube. There's already hundreds and hundreds of different tips out there for role players. These ones are going to be a bit more about inspiring you to be creative in your games. And they're going to be more about sparking off an idea for you than they are about giving you a basic grounding in what role playing is. That might come later, but at the moment we're just concentrating on trying to make it creative and exciting for you, the viewers. So the first one we're going to do is something called Simultaneous Plotlines, something which I love doing and something I've experimented with and had a fair bit of success with. Now, what are simultaneous plotlines? It's pretty simple really. It's where you have two adventures running at the same time with the same group. The first adventure is going to be incredibly basic in its format. So it's going to be the standard plot line of there is a magical artifact that needs to be recovered, or there's a big bad guy who's causing havoc and the players need to be able to find that person and defeat them. The trick of it here is that you need to give them a very short amount of time to be able to do this. So you want to be able to restrict their time so it feels like they have the rush to be able to organise and plan what they're about to do. So they're going to think, okay, this is the standard adventure, we know what to do, okay, we'll go and defeat the bad guy, blah, 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 blah. But once they start on the path, that's when you hit them with the second adventure plot. And this is an adventure plot where the problem happens to the player characters. So instead of the player characters attacking an enemy, this time something affects the player characters. And that something has got to be something that is incredibly dear to them, something that is going to make them want to pursue that second plot line. So it could be that there's a kidnapping of a loved one, it could be that something very precious has been stolen from them. Basically anything that you can think of that the player characters can do to somebody else, you do it to them. And so now they've got a second plot line which they've got to be able to solve. And the trick of this comes from turning these two basic plot lines and having the player characters trying to balance out their time management skills between solving these two plot lines. And that is really where the fun is. Probably a good example of one that I ran, not on camera unfortunately, I wish I had, but it was a Shadowrun adventure where I had their contact of these two Shadowrunners. They were contacted by a Mr. Johnson who worked for the Mafia. And they were told that there was a courier at the airport that was arriving the next day and that the courier had a data chip which needed to be stolen. And so they knew that they weren't going to be able to cross the Mafia, so they were committed as soon as they agreed to the bargain. Then, as they began to prepare, I hit them with a phone call from a friend of theirs saying that both their girlfriends had been kidnapped. And so now they had a situation where they needed to be able to sort out the courier and fix that problem, and at the same time they need to work out who had kidnapped their girlfriends and why. I made sure that the two plots weren't connected in any way, so the player characters had no idea why it was happening to them, but they did know it was terrible timing. And so I think, from my perspective, I think it's a better way to go than having the two connected in some way. But if you want to run it that way, then you're more than welcome to, and I certainly will be experimenting with a connected plot that's simultaneous at the same time, and I'll let you know how it goes, or hopefully it'll be on video. So that's the basics on simultaneous plot lines. There's going to be more coming in the weeks ahead. I've got a number of different ideas planned. If you want the transcript for this as an article, you can find it on our website at www.dicestorm.com, and I'll also put a link in the description below. And I just really encourage you to join up with us. We're building a community. And if you like what we do, please subscribe and like our videos. Thanks very much. I'm John, and I will see you in the next role-playing game.